Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is, I'm sure as you can guess, the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame in his game because he is always the same.
That's me.
For those of you who are new to the show, this is a twice-a-week sports-based podcast. It goes live, and we go live every single Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And to make sure you don't miss out on any of the action, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, and follow on Twitter. Also, if you like this content and you want to see more, leaving the thumbs up always helps the algorithm, from what I understand. But Grump, we didn't go live this last Sunday, and since then, I tell you, there's a lot of sports to cover. What a shock. Anytime you miss one of the podcasts, we missed our Sunday evening podcast. We have a lot of additional sports to cover, Grump.
Particularly a general sports podcast.
I was about to say, let's talk about, I think, maybe this is for Americans, right? Maybe not the most favorite section for them. But Grump, Champions League final is this weekend. Real Madrid against Liverpool. Want to ask, who do you have? Who are you favoring this weekend?
I'm a Real Madrid fan, so Hala Madrid. I'm going for them.
Okay, well, tell me the reason behind why you think they're going to beat Liverpool.
It just seems like they're Destiny's darling this year. They seem to win games right at the end, 2 goals down in the 90th minute. Somehow they win. It just seems like it's one of those seasons. Then you hear some of the Liverpool players like Mo Salah talking mad shit about Real Madrid, and Henderson talking crap, how they're way better. They're going to get a different. Liverpool seems really, really confident, and Real Madrid's just not saying anything.
Okay, in Liverpool's defense, I can understand why they're very confident, right? They won the Community Shield. They won the FA Cup. They came in second place by 1 point for the Premier League title, and they're in the Champions League title. Right before, right, it used to be a triple, that they could win. Now you can technically win 4 trophies.
In England, you can, because they seem to make shit up so that their teams will get more trophies.
But I mean, right, this is a team that was a point away from at least getting, they're a point away from winning 3 trophies in a season. They could still win 3 trophies in a season if they beat Real Madrid here this weekend. And I'll tell you, you're right. This is a Real Madrid team, and you were talking about, hey, how they were down. They were down by 2 goals in the 90th minute. You're talking about to Man City.
They were down, first of all, to PSG.
Yes,
by 2 goals with 30 minutes to go in, the second leg of the tournament. They come back and they score 3 goals in like 15 minutes to win that match, to win that tie, excuse me. Then Chelsea, they come out. They have to go extra time to beat Chelsea. And then Manchester City, they get dominated the first leg, and then they come back and they score 2 goals at the 90-minute mark to send it to extra time. Yes, 2. That's right, 2. And then they go to extra time and they win there too. I mean, it seems, and they've beaten the best teams in each round. I mean, here's the thing. I'm certainly rooting for them without a doubt, and I hope they win.
Fair enough. Yeah, I wonder if it's kind of like, do you remember, and it's not an apples to apples comparison, I'll say that ahead of time. You remember when Ajax went ahead and had that magical run that one year?
Yeah, they were a younger team.
And that's what I said. It's not an apples to apples comparison, but everything seemed to fall right for Ajax, and they just continue to climb and climb. Oh man, it's unbelievable! Look how far they. Nobody expect. I mean, Real Madrid, right? You talk about a historic club, unbelievable club throughout the history of football. But in the same token, nobody expected the results against PSG, against Man City that Real Madrid have produced. And I wonder if they're kind of playing on house money a bit now that they're in the big stage, right? Are things a little different for Liverpool? You think Liverpool's still, they're still looking over possibly Real Madrid? Is that what you feel?
I think that they feel that they're better than Real Madrid. If you're saying it out loud, okay. I mean, what's the one thing you don't do? You don't give bulletin board material to your opponent. And you're right. This is like Real's tournament. I believe they're like 13-3 uh, in the Champions League finals. They've won 13 championships. The next highest team is Liverpool, I believe, has 6.
Yeah, they do have 6.
I mean, this was not a season that anyone was expecting anything from Real Madrid. They're still grappling with losing Cristiano Ronaldo at the end of 2018. And I think everything's kind of come together. Karim Benzema has been fantastic this year. As a guy who's 34 years old, they have Luka Modric, who's 36. They got a lot of older players on that team with a whole bunch of younger players ready to step up. I think this is the beginning of a new golden era for Real Madrid.
They've got a lot of groundwork still left to do for it to be a golden era. They have done a good job of replacing some of the older names with some new, fresh, young blood. There's no doubt about that. But, right, Luka Modric said, hasn't signed a new contract yet, but he told us, hey, it's not going to be an Mbappe situation. And for those who, I think we touched on this very briefly, on last, I think it was last Thursday, on Wednesday, it seemed like all signs were pointing that Real Madrid were going to be able to sign Kylian Mbappe and that they had agreed to personal deals with our personal contract with him. And it seemed to be everything was done and dusted. By Thursday, well, Kylian Mbappe is going to talk with his camp. He's going to go ahead and he's reevaluating. He's really going to put some thought into it, but he thought that he would have a decision in by the end of the week or by the weekend. And what happens is by the weekend, Mbappe determines to sign back with PSG because they threw quite a large, hefty sum of money at him.
He made a verbal agreement with Real Madrid going back a few months ago, and every time he talked to them up to a week ago, he said, yes, I'm coming to Real Madrid. And then the last minute he goes to PSG. And this supposedly the boyhood dream was him playing for Real Madrid, his favorite team. They always show the pictures of the posters.
Well, it's always about Cristiano. He loved Cristiano.
Right. And he loves Real Madrid. That's his dream position. And now here's the thing. I don't begrudge him from taking the money. I mean, he's the highest paid player in the world, any sport, is what he's going to be making now. Good for him. No problem. He just went about it the wrong way because they waited until the last minute, which meant that Real Madrid couldn't go out and get someone else to fill his spot. Well, it is what it is. Honestly, in the long run, I think it's better for Real not to have signed him right now because it means that they're going to be able to fortify other positions on the team that need a little bit of help. Whereas if they pissed all that money away on Mbappe, they would not have been able to improve their back end or, the defensive midfield position, which now they had the ability to do that, right? So not an issue there at all that he decided not to sign. I think the big issue for Real fans in particular, not me because I don't care, but for most of them is Real Madrid hasn't signed anyone for the last 3 years, saving up all their money just for this run at him. And he's always said, yes, I'm going to come. And then he backs out. So I think a lot of Real fans are butthurt. I'm not, but I know a lot of Real fans who are.
Well, here's the thing. He's an undeniable talent, Kylian Mbappe. And I'm just going to throw this out as a scenario, right? Erling Haaland was not going anywhere. I firmly believe he was penciled in to go to Man City. Remember, his dad played for Man City, grew up a Man City fan. I feel like he was always going to go to Man City. So, he had connections there. Being so heavy in the pot and, in play there for Mbappe, right? They probably didn't even explore too much the Haaland option. I know in prior years, at least the transfer window, they were rumored to have been exploring that option as well. So I'm not sure if it possibly, right? You talk about the implications it could have had about trying to acquire other players, even this transfer window. I mean, right, those are the two guys, right? Haaland and Mbappe, two of the best players out there in the world, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and the whole thing was that, yes, they wanted Haaland, but Mbappe was their first choice. And when he said they were going to go, they didn't even make an offer for him. They were thinking about bringing both of them in, but financially they couldn't do it, which leads to a bigger question. You have these state-run teams like PSG, Man City, now Newcastle, where they're run by countries. So they have unlimited
oil sheiks.
Right, unlimited amounts of wealth that they can throw at players. And that's going to be a problem moving forward. Mark my words.
Financial fair play is a joke. It always has been, and it always will be. There's no enforcement because the teams that make bukus of dollars and they make unbelievable amounts of money, they're not going to want to penalize them. They could slap the wrist on a little tiny Derby County because they're a championship club. They were outside of financial fair play. No worries. When Everton Football Club was 370 million pounds, they lost 370 million pounds in the last 3 years. Financial fair play only allows you to lose 105 million pounds. They wrote all that off as COVID expenses. Well, there's a little workaround.
There's always work. Here's the thing. If you're a big club, you get away with murder.
Yes, exactly. That's my point. Doesn't matter. Financial fair play. If Real Madrid signed both of them, didn't freaking matter. What are they going to do?
Well,
kick them out of everything?
See, La Liga has really strict rules when it comes to financial fair play, which is the Spanish league.
I wish all the leagues had very strict rules about that.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm rooting for Real Madrid 100%. I'll be super excited. I think it's been a magical run this year, honestly, for them. The development of Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo and Karim Benzema having the best year of his life. I mean, it's just been a magical season. I'd love to see him cap it off by beating those pieces of shit from Liverpool.
Well, they play Real Madrid faces off against Liverpool this Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've got Liverpool as winning this one. And, I think to myself, what could elevate Real Madrid to winning? I mean, Karim Benzema just has these spurts where he's fantastic. And do we see a little Champions League finals magic from Gareth Bale once again? He's a guy where in the Champions League finals, he finds a way to perform. So you always wonder.
He won't even be in the squad come Saturday. He won't even be in the squad. He hasn't played in forever. This is the last hurrah for him. He's out of contract. Bye-bye, Gareth Bale. He won't even be on the team. He will not play.
Okay, fair enough, Grump. Fair enough. Shirley, it's Tony Chi says, "Hello, boys."
Hey, that's a good-looking guy in that picture there.
Yeah, I like how that little girl's got your purple drink, Grumpy, and you look very upset and perturbed in that picture. So, guys, Rangers down 2-1 at the moment.
I just want to say one other thing. You've been talking for weeks and weeks about the relegation battle in the Premier League, and I think it's over. How did your team do? Did they survive the relegation battle, or are they ba-boom out of the Premier League?
They're in the championship. They did not survive the drop. So they got for weeks and weeks, Grumpy. We talked about it for the last, I'd say the last 2 weeks of the season. So on Sunday and then that Thursday, I think. And then but here it is, right? So the last 2 podcasts, we talked about the relegation battle. Honestly, it was a very interesting and intriguing day for neutral fans, right? Leeds and Burnley, right? There were the 2 teams duking and battling it out on the last day. Leeds comes away with the victory. Burnley come away with a loss. So Leeds survived. They avoided the drop. Burnley, my team, was relegated to the Championship League or the Championship. So it does happen. But Alexander says here, "Hey guys, how you both doing? Doing well, Alexander. Hopefully you're doing well too. I don't tell you guys this enough, but I really appreciate you guys with the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. And this one, as well as, you guys are awesome. I love you guys. After the deadly school shooting yesterday, make sure, Grump, you hold your grandchildren tight and your loved ones as well. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
thanks, Alexander. Appreciate that.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah,
absolutely. You hate to see stuff like that. You really do.
Yep, from the Lost Man.
Alexander's a great guy. He's just a nice person. Can I just say that?
You can say that, Grumpy.
Okay,
That would be accurate.
I did. He is a great guy.
Nico is saying here, Benzema is a god. Alexander saying here, my buddy and I are watching the game, and he hates all the sports except for hockey. And he says that the challenges are taking away from the game. Hint, he's a Ranger fan. He says it's not football calls. It's a pansy sport because they only play once a week. Oh. They need to do away with challenges, according to him. What's going on with the game, Grumpy? What score?
Okay, here's the thing. He's talking about Ryan Strome scored a goal, but it was so obvious that there was offside in the Rangers that it got overruled. I mean, that's just the case.
What's the score of the game right now, Grumpy?
I don't know. I'm not watching the game.
Okay. I see you glancing, Grumpy. Drew Ellis.
I'm actually reading the comments at the bottom. That's what I'm doing.
Drew L says, I don't know what's going on in soccer at the moment, but does that mean anything for Messi now that Mbappe is resigned? I'd say no. I think Messi's going nowhere.
Mbappe has a whole lot of power now. He gets to say who the sporting director is or have input. Supposedly, they've already picked Luis Campos is going to be the new PSG sporting director because that's who Mbappe wanted. Mbappe gets to say which players come on the team. Good for him. But, if you want to be known as a legend, you can't play in the French league. You got to go to one of the big leagues. And he's happy being a big fish in a small pond. I have no problem with it at all. He's making a boatload of money, more money than I've ever made or ever will make, without a doubt. He just went for the money, which is fine, but he will not be mentioned in the same breath as Ronaldo or Messi or Pele or Maradona. They just won't. He just won't.
I don't know, Grumpy. I think you're a little preemptive to make. I mean, what is he, only 22, 23 years old?
23. He don't win anything. What's he win?
It's really freaking early yet in his career to be saying that.
Okay.
You're using definites, right? You're using definites right there, Grumpy.
Okay. You stay in the French league, you will not be regarded as highly as playing in the Spanish league or the English league. Period. End of sentence, end of story. There's no comparisons. The French league at the Big Five is number 5. And the Dutch league is closing in on them. There's no competition in that league. It's PSG with, they spend billions of dollars every year. They've lost like 762 million pounds in the last 2 years, and they're still able to sign guys. I don't know. Their salaries are over 600 million pounds a year. I mean, or euros a year. That's a lot of damn money. So. No, like I said, no skin off my nose. I think we're being Real Madrid are better off without him. Maybe not scoring wise, but for the rest of the team, I think we are.
I think you see with PSG that, okay, they didn't have the right manager. Ponch is not the right freaking manager for that.
You got 3 guys up front who don't play any defense. That's a problem.
That is a problem.
Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe.
You get the wrong goddamn manager, though.
Okay, but what are you going to tell him? What are you going to tell Messi? Hey, you got to come back and mark your man? You're going to tell Neymar that? You're going to tell Mbappe that? You're between a rock and a hard place.
The right coaches have a way of saying it in a nice way, and the right coaches have a way. Again, they need a coach. You talk about a coach that they need a guy like Zidane. That's the type of coach that they need, grumpy old man. They need a Zidane-esque type coach that has the pedigree, that could speak with them, and again, who's one of those all-time greats that carries a little more weight.
Zidane has already turned them down.
I'm just saying that's the type of coach. I'm not saying they need Zidane. I'm saying they need a coach like that.
Those guys don't grow on trees. They just don't.
Obviously.
I mean, Zinedine Zidane, I don't think he's a great, and I think we've talked about it on the show, I don't fancy him as a great tactical coach, but he's a spectacular man manager, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, like Real has Ancelotti, who I didn't know why they fired him the first time to bring Zidane in. He just came off a Champions League, then lost in the semifinals. But it's like, okay, that's the thing. You got to keep winning if you want to be a coach at Real Madrid. Where PSG, it's like, who cares? They're going to win French League just about every year, but they're never going to win Champions League. They just don't. Some teams are losers, and Man City is another one of those teams. I know they win Premier League, but in the big tournament, which is Champions League, they just always find a way to lose.
They've never won a champion. They've never won a Champions League. Yep. Nick also saying talks of Messi going to Inter Miami come in 2023.
Well, the way he's playing, it's like he's already playing it in Miami.
Oh, gosh. Alexander saying, hope you get better, Grump, and it's 3-1 of the Canes.
Oh, okay. Very
Ernie
good.
Gaines said, okay, that's it. Where can I get some of your merch? You can find it if you go on Etsy and you go ahead and type in Islanders Never Say Die. You'll be able to see all the merchandise there they've got. The enemy of the media cartel, Maddie and the Jags, Grumpy's Groupies, the Bavarian the Vets. Maybe we should go ahead and sell that to. Maybe we should go ahead and sell that logo to somebody else, wherever new team he's going to be. If it's Winnipeg or the Philadelphia Flyers, it might take about a year, maybe a half a year for them to understand what we're trying to hint at there. But hey, it's a good design, Grump.
That it is. I love that design. I love that shirt.
I love how you drink just like you take a little tiny sip. You go, and you go ahead and cap it back up. I love how you cap always the drink back up. I do love that.
Oh, you know what? Maybe we should go bring your wife on the podcast and ask how when you dump the whole drink all over the floor.
One
Had
time.
to get it cleaned. Yeah, okay, but I've never done that because I recap my drink.
Here you
go. I just do enough to wet my whistle. That's all I do. See?
Oh my goodness. Oh, good gracious. Hodaz. What's up, Hodaz? Long time. He says, good evening, Grump, and howdy, TJ. What's up, Hodaz? How are you? Alexander saying 3-1, 5 minutes and 21 seconds in the third period. Canes are up.
Canes seem to win at home. They can't run on the road, but they win every game at home.
Nick D saying, TJ, the curve. How are you guys doing? Doing well, Nick.
Thank you.
How about you?
Yes.
Frank saying, hey, everyone, especially TJ and Grump, Masterflex.
Grump Masterflex, yes.
Hey, what is that? What's Masterflex?
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't know it was an old thing. I watched last night's podcast this morning. Hopefully it was a good treat, a nice treat. Yeah, there it is. Carolina up 3-1, says Nick. James F saying, man, I thought the Avalanche are going to win that game in overtime. Well, let's talk about that for a second. You want to talk about entertaining hockey? You want to talk about the NHL's, perfect scenario, a game where there's so many goals within the last 5 minutes of action, and it just, again, everything was heightened, unbelievable scoring opportunities, and a masterclass performance by McKinnon.
Yeah, but you're seeing from Colorado the reasons why I think that Tampa's still going to win the Stanley Cup this year. You have a 3-0 lead at the end of the second period and you want to losing that game. I'm sorry. I mean, at home, no less.
Nathan McKinnon scores a hat trick.
And he scores with 2.5 minutes to go and you still wind up losing that game. I'm sorry. St. Louis, there's no quitting them. I'm going to tell you that much. I'm not saying there's quitting Colorado, but you just see what having a really stellar goaltender means. You look at Vasilevsky and then you look at Kemper. I mean, St. Louis has Husso, their backup, who looks every bit of the backup in this series.
Yeah. I mean, they're playing against Colorado, but this is what it was, right? The game was tied 3-3. St. Louis scored a goal to tie it up 3-3, I think with 4 or 5 minutes left to go in action. 2 minutes and 55 seconds left on the clock. Colorado and St. Louis were tied. And this right here is what unfolds. You want to talk about terrible defense by St. Louis, but unbelievable.
It's 1-on-5. Ugh.
What a play by McKinnon, but what terrible defense.
Well, here's the thing. The forward didn't pinch up, didn't force him to the inside, which meant that Leddy got exposed, and the goalie just stood there. I don't know what the hell he was even looking at.
Okay, it starts off with a lazy play by frickin' the center 25. Holy shit.
Yeah, you got to force him to the boards. Keep skating. And the guy behind, he just kind of slows up. He's
lazy and reaching. Reaches. And Nick Leddy, look at this shit. Oh my God.
But his goalie, where is he?
And the goal, it was three unbelievably lazy and unaware players cost the St. Louis Blues that goal.
But what you found out at the end was Cale Makar is not good enough defensively in big moments because he stands in front of the net and they get beat for point blank shots right at the net because he doesn't clear out. He's not good defensively. I know he's your best defenseman. But still, in those crunch moments, I don't want him. If I'm the head coach, I don't want him out there. I want somebody who can actually play defense out there.
He plays no defense. It's the thing, right? It's like your guys like your Erik Karlssons play no defense. Now, if you want to win the playoffs, your defensemen have to freaking play defense.
Yes.
I'm not trying to take anything away from McKinnon because that's a fantastic play by McKinnon. Yeah, right? That's a highlight reel play.
Here's the thing. In Leddy's defense, McKinnon's coming in 100 miles an hour, and he's like just starting his back pedal.
Why the hell is he caught flat-footed?
Because he's expecting some of the forwards to pick him up. It was 1-on-5.
He's coming from a mile away.
Yeah, okay, but you have to expect somebody to pick the guy up a little bit. He's not there to just, I'm going to start backpedaling.
That lazy bastard. Lazy Letty is his freaking name. You earn a name like Lazy Letty, Grump.
Yeah, I know you don't like him, but like I said, to me, the goalie's more to blame. He was just out of position. You see the guy skating in? That's the guy you got to look at every single way. He goes to the outside. He's standing there in the middle of the net, 5 foot out of the crease. It's like, what the hell are you doing? You can't get back. It's like, what are you doing?
My goodness. My goodness. Yeah. So it was miserable all the way around. You're right. St. Louis, though, scores, right? They score not even a minute, 2 minutes later to go ahead and tie it up with the goalie pulled. They go ahead and tie it back up at 4-4. And then Tyler Bozak scores a goal in overtime.
And that's a weekie. That was a weekie.
St. Louis, right? They looked like, I said, hey, it looked like they were done and dusted. They were down 3-1 of the series. You're right. I mean, Colorado was up 3-0 in that game at home, and they lose in overtime 4-3 to the St. Louis Blues.
Yes.
St. Louis now returns to their home arena. You know, can they go ahead and pick up a win tomorrow evening and tie that series at 3 apiece?
I think St. Louis wins tomorrow. And I think it's going to be a hell of a, I mean, does Colorado, maybe they're not mature enough to win the series? I don't know. Maybe they are. McKinnon is fantastic, and they have great players on that team. I don't know if they know enough how to win a championship yet, but they're close. They are close.
Takes time. Takes toughness. Takes grit. You can't have a whole bunch of defensemen like Cale Makar don't play any defense back there.
Yeah.
Nick D says here, the Oilers and the Flames are starting soon. Any predictions?
I think the Flames win today.
It's a must-win game for the Flames, that's for certain.
Every game from here on out is must-win for the Flames.
Yeah, Edmonton is up 3-1 in the series over the Flames. So I had the Flame. I seriously had the Oilers prior, to them advancing and playing the Flames. Thought the Oilers could sneakily win 2 playoff series, and they're in the driver's seat right now to do so. I'm not sure they're going to make any more damage past that. I don't envision them winning the Western Conference Finals or anything like that, but I could see them winning 2 playoff series. I could see them closing out the Flames tonight.
That's another series where the goaltending has just been bad.
Both teams, the goaltending has been miserable. Yeah. Mike Smith missing save opportunities for more than half ice shots. You're just like, oh my God, yikes.
Yeah, terrible. Terrible. And Markstrom's been bad.
Yep. James F. says here, Grumpy, the Yankees win again. And the Yankees got a new addition. Can you tell me about him, Grump?
Matt Carpenter was signed by the Yankees today. First thing he had to do was shave his beard, cut his hair, because that rule is still in effect from George Steinbrenner. You got to look clean if you're going to play for the Yankees. He's been good. He doesn't hit for high average, but he's got fair power numbers, knocks him some runs. But I'm not a super fan of his. He can play a lot of positions, though. So in that regard, he's a good pickup for them. He can play first, second, third, outfield. I mean, so, I'm not opposed to that. But anybody you're picking up as a streety at this point, I don't know how much you expect him to give you, really.
He's a guy, you're right. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's always been a utility guy, even back for St. Louis back in the day. He had a few years where he played really well for them, and others were like, yeah, you're hitting like 215 over the season. So,
yeah. But like I said, you get a guy who can play many positions. That's a good thing. And he's like I said, he's not terrible, but he's not, he's not Lou Gehrig at first base or Willie Randolph at second or Greg Nettles at third, or that's not who he is. But he's put up.
My God, did you see he kept the mustache? Have you seen that have you seen what he looks like now?
I have not.
Oh my God. It's like nightmare fuel. It's not good. Let me put you like that. I'll pull up the picture of what Matt Carpenter looks like here back what people remember him from when he was in St. Louis. Give me a sec. I'll pull that picture up, and I'll pull up the new picture of him. And he's going with what the new look is these days. Are you familiar with the new look, like where people grow out the pedo stash or they grow out the porn star stash? Now that's apparently coming back in style.
I remember the porn star stashes. I used to have one of them years ago.
So that's what he looks. That's what he looked like back with
St. Louis.
Back with St. Louis. Let me see here.
Yeah, I mean, not a great look. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The hat's too big for his head. His ears look big. He looks like the beard looks like it's combed, like a windswept comb look on one side. So, it is what it is. But I know that, you play for the Yankees, you got to get trimmed up. That's for certain. I didn't even know they were letting mustaches be part of the team anymore.
Okay, give me 1 second. I want to try to grab this image.
But I mean, like I said, he'll help the Yankees, though. He'll help them. They have a couple of players who are like that. Wow, that's a bad look. I'm sorry.
It's not a good look.
Man, he's got a really small jaw. I could see why he had the beard.
He does. He's got a cleft chin too. You'd never would have thought.
You know who he looks like? He looks like Voldemort.
What?
Voldemort. Avada Kedavra. That's who he looks like.
Hold on. Voldemort never had a mustache. What are you talking about?
But it looks like he's got a snake head, like a little snake head.
God almighty. God almighty.
No.
Grumpy shows he was a big drinker back in the day.
No.
And Alexander's saying, and rest in peace, Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta from Goodfellas.
Yeah.
That was
also in Field of Dreams, too.
Yeah. But okay. But Goodfellas was Ray Liotta. That's for something.
I'll let you read that one.
Funkmaster Flex was on Hot 97. He was a DJ. See, that was a long time ago. So I don't remember that. It's been a long time since I've listened to a radio station.
Nick D said, are you guys going to have call-ins on Saturday with the Islanders Never Say That podcast? We're going to start them up again. I don't know when we're starting them up. Grump and I will have to talk about that, but we're going to be starting them up again.
We will be doing call-ins on Saturdays.
Yes, we usually do that. Hold on a sec. Oh, God.
Butt fuck.
Oh, my God.
What?
This was you from last podcast, Grumpy Old Man.
Oh.
It says when the Rangers... Oh, God. This is when you were saying something not so nice, Grumpy Old Man. You're using some adult language on this one, Grumpy.
Yeah, it's usually I don't do that.
And then Drew said, what happened to the Rangers after the refs called the offsides on the goal?
Fuck. Bend over and butt fuck. Bend over and butt fuck.
I don't even know what the hell that was, but taken out of context, it's always funny.
It is good.
And if the Avalanche lose the series, the Canes can win all of their future games all at home. They can win the cup, says James F. Yes, the Carolina Hurricanes have not won a single road playoff game so far. Only can win at home. Can they finally break that this upcoming Saturday against the Rangers? Maybe, but you have to start winning some away games.
You're not going to beat Tampa unless you can win some away games.
That's true.
Not going to happen.
Alexander said, it's just amazing how Edmonton's doing because Mike Smith is absolutely brutal.
He is terrible in net. I can't believe they didn't do something to upgrade their goaltending at the deadline.
Yep. Alexander says, I remember 2 weeks ago, NHL Network was hyping up Husso like he was the next big thing.
He's like I say, backup quarterbacks and backup goalies are the most popular players in town because everyone thinks they're better than the starter when they're not.
And Shirley Tony said, I just imagine TJ over-ordered those Barry and the Vet shirt shit. And he's looking at a warehouse full of them. And he's just wondering, how can I sell them now? Thank God we use a drop shipper. So we're not caught with any of the merchandise to where we have to worry about like selling off any portion. It's like, hey, they're selling out quick. It's only a limited amount left. We don't have to worry about any of that type of stuff. Thank goodness. Sure. Alexander said, why are offensive defensemen so good at offense, but not defense? That's got to get coached.
The reason is if you're really good offensively, your instincts tell you to go. Where if you're just defense oriented, your instincts tell you just to lay back. So, I mean, you can't, so few players are good at both. Those are the all-time greats, Potvin, Orr.
I was about to say Bobby Orr. That's the first name that always comes to my mind.
Yeah, he was good defensively, too. I mean, he wasn't the best defensive defenseman ever, but he was good, and he was spectacular offensively, where Potvin was so well-rounded. That's what made him so great. Great on both sides.
And then, let's have a delay. Relax, sit back. Oh, strength to be the game. Sorry. Frank also saying, man, just got back from getting my girls at LaGuardia Airport. Not a fun drive. So if Letty is named Lazy Letty, what is Chara then? Eeyore? I don't know. Chara.
He's retired.
I was about to say retired Chara. The Canes third round team to win, or the third team to win.
7 home games, allowed 2 or
games.
fewer games in all 7. Okay.
There it is. McKinnon is a great player. My God, I'd love him on the Islanders. Well, it's funny, right? We're talking about Nathan McKinnon. I want to ask you a little bit about what your thoughts are on him, because now, he's been in the playoffs quite a few times, right? And he's had success in the playoffs. And they pop up an image, at least the NHL, I think PR did this, quickest players to hit 80 career playoff points. And they go down the list, right? You've got here Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Yari Curry, Sidney Crosby, and Nathan McKinnon tied with Sidney Crosby, and how few games it took him to hit 80 career points.
Yeah, he's really, really good. He's really good.
I think Sidney Crosby did it at a younger age, though, which I think does matter.
I couldn't.
McKinnon's fantastic, right? He's got 80 career playoff points in 59 games played. He's averaging a point a game. He's averaging more than a point a game in the playoffs, which is freaking unreal.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, you're not going to hear me put down Nathan McKinnon. I think he's fantastic.
I'm just saying, right? I think Crosby, right, in his prime is a better player than Nathan McKinnon. And all I'm saying, right, when you look at the playoff points, it's not like, holy crap, they're equal. They're on par. Yes, they were. Sidney Crosby was doing that at a younger age. Nathan McKinnon's not 23 years old anymore.
I don't know. How old is he? Do you know? 25, 26?
26.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Crosby was certainly younger.
I was going to say, Crosby was doing it 21, 22, 23. It's a little different when you're doing it that young than when you're doing it 24, 25, 26.
Yeah. Okay. You say the same thing about Gretzky and Mario too, right?
What do you mean? Well,
they were really young too.
Okay, look at how many fewer games it took them. I'm just saying, right, when we're talking about current day players, and that's why I kind of brought up this list. I think McKinnon's fantastic. I don't think he's going to be Sidney Crosby, right? When you look at his legacy, it won't be that of what Sidney Crosby's legacy is and will continue to be.
No, because he doesn't get that media hype like Crosby did.
Even if he was playing and got the media hype, I don't think he's as good as Crosby was.
Some guys are the anointed ones. Connor McDavid, for instance.
Connor McDavid's a million miles better than McKinnon.
Okay, but if he put up numbers like this, they'd be praising him to the moon like they do Crosby.
It's going to take McDavid less than 59 career games to hit 80 points in the playoffs.
Maybe.
Oh, I just have that feeling.
But how old is he going to be? 30 years old by the time that happens? I mean, they don't make the playoffs a whole lot. I mean, right? He just doesn't.
Well, right now he's 25. Wow, Connor McDavid's 25 already.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's not going to get there faster than McKinnon is, age-wise.
McKinnon's 26. You don't think you're making the playoffs next year?
I don't. How many points does McDavid have in the playoffs?
You have to give me a second. Let me calculate this.
I mean, that's the big thing. It's like, if he's 30 points away or 35 points away in a year, there's no guarantee he's going to get there. I mean, I just think a lot of times they create this. All right, so what makes 80 the magical number? Shouldn't it be 100, honestly? Who gets to 100 the fastest? I mean,
he's got 40. McDavid's got 47 points in 32 career games in the playoffs.
Okay, so he needs another 33 points.
Okay, so let's say they go on a run. Let's say they beat Calgary. Okay, let me put you like this. This year in the playoffs, there has only been one game to where Nathan McKinnon has not recorded a single point this year in the playoffs. And he's also going tonight, if he has a multi-point game, he will break Wayne Gretzky's record for most multi-point career or most multi-point games in the playoffs in a row.
Yeah, he's good. Really good. Really
Fantastic. That's what I just said. I think McDavid's on a different playing field than McKinnon, and I thought this was an interesting stat and a parameter by the NHL PR team.
Yeah, they break out whatever the book they have. How can we put something up here to hype one of our players? 80. Yeah, 80. That's a good enough number. Put it up there.
I figured you'd find that interesting. Nasty Nestor also threw a 3-hit shutout today, and JP Sears, who pitched yesterday, threw a scoreless 6 innings.
Yeah, Nestor Cortez has been really good. I dropped him from my fantasy team. Unfortunately, that was dumb. You live and learn. I got a lot of guys on the DL, though. A lot of them. A lot of star pitchers.
Grumpy, your favorite sideline caster is on today for the Flames game. Leah Hextall.
She sucks.
There's so many females better than her, and I don't know. Well, correction, I do know how she got that job. It's because her last name, and she's related to Ron Hextall, but she is awful.
Yeah, she's terrible.
Awful. He says you're not tough. What the hell was that dumb ass quote she said?
I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
You're afraid to fight him. Is that true?
It doesn't matter. But nepotism is alive and well in the NHL.
As it always has been. Yeah, man, Matt Carpenter's looking awful. Should have shaved off that whole thing. He looks like something I can't state. Got to keep it PG. Yeah, absolutely. Rest in peace, Alan White.
Oh,
yes, Grumpy.
Oh man. Yeah, I tell you, that's something. Ray Liotta and Alan White both died. Somebody else, some other celebrity's going down the next day or two.
It always happens.
Always dying threes.
Paulo C says here, Grumpy is right. As a goalie, you can't have McKinnon score on a short side like that. He had to have the short side covered, but yes, letting you to take the body or at least get a piece of him. Absolutely. I'm about to say the center did a terrible job coming back, lazy reach like that, not moving his feet. Nick Leddy said something. I'm gonna be Nick Lazy Leddy all over again, and the goalie gets beat short side in a weak shot attempt like that.
He was just so out of position.
But 3 awful plays by the Blues individually.
He was just so out of position. Husso was just so out of position. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Are you even looking at the play? Or are you looking at the girl at row 10? I mean, I don't know. Terrible. But they showed some guts coming back, right? No quitting them.
Give me a second here. I don't know. This better be the exact moment. Alexander sent us something here for old Mad Mike Milbury.
Add them up for me. How many coaches have you hired and fired here since you've been a general manager of the Islanders, including yourself, by the way?
The head coaches have been, not counting the interim coaches, Chris.
Well, I got to count them 4. Because they're part of it.
Don't count them because they were there because
I'm not going to count the coach who was. I'm not going to count the coach who was here when you got the job.
If you want, but I'm telling you that the head.
I have to count them. You go ahead.
You can put an asterisk beside him.
Absolutely not. You brought him in as an interim. Then you fired him. I got to count that.
How many coaches, Chris? How many coaches have the New Jersey Devils had in the last?
They won 2 cups for goodness' sake.
How many coaches have the Anaheim Ducks had in the last 8 years?
And they're in a cup final with this guy they brought in here.
Finals last year. How many of the Rangers had?
We don't live in there. Well, listen, we're not talking, Mike. I'm talking about your track record. How many coaches? I asked a simple question.
I'm asking you.
How many coaches have you hired and fired since you've been an Islander general manager? Count them up for me.
I have hired head coaches, not interim coaches. You figure out the interim coaches. I've hired myself, Rick Bowness, Butch Goring, and Peter Laviolette in the 8 years that I'm here.
And now this
Sterling makes 5.
5. And how many interim coaches?
My 9th year.
And how many interim coaches?
There were 2 other interim coaches.
So Mike, let me get this straight. You've been the general manager of the New York Islanders, and in your 9 years, you have had under your tutelage 7 coaches. That is a disgrace.
The way you want to interpret it, Chris.
I mean, you can't be the general manager if you put 7 guys in. 7.
Could you imagine really quickly somebody talking to freaking Lou Lamoriello like that, or pick your general manager, Stevie Y? Could you imagine any any sort of reputable or self-respecting general manager getting into it with a disc jockey like that? Could you imagine that?
Not a disc jockey. He's a sports talk radio.
Okay, sorry,
not a disc jockey.
A sports radio guy, huh? Could you imagine that? I can't.
This is what you would have heard. Boop from him hanging up the phone.
Immediately would have clicked off. Goodbye.
But then you see when you do that though, you absolutely get just buried by the host because he's got all the numbers in front of him anyway. You get buried by the host and you can't respond at all.
Matt Barzal also got a very interesting and funny cake for his birthday today. Oh God, if somebody could shoot us that on Twitter, we'll take a look. And then, do you guys think that Yager would have threatened Gretzky's record instead of Ovechkin if he was still playing?
No.
I was about to say, I mean, Yager had a lot.
Wait till he was 46 or 47.
Well, I mean, like if he didn't go and play in the KHL, didn't go play overseas.
Well,
I mean, he spent some years, in a little past his prime, still very productive years based off of what we even saw when he came back from playing in Europe. So, yeah.
He was an all-time great.
You heard Yager wants to play another season in the KHL's 35th season at the age of 50 years old. My God, unreal is right.
Well, I think he owns the league, doesn't he?
He owns a team in the Czech Republic League, and he plays for him. So he owns a team, and he almost averages a point a game for him at the age of like 50 years old.
I bet you he's still a draw, though. Tell me if Jaromir Jagr didn't come to some ECHL game, you wouldn't go see him. I know I would.
Certain. It'd be like if you'd see Reggie Jackson playing in the ECHL, you'd be like, hell yeah, I'm going to go check out Reggie.
Yeah. I mean,
let me see here. He averaged, think about this. He played for the Czech team. Oh, man, his point per game dropped a little bit. At the age of 49 years old, in the Czech Elite League, he played 43 games, had 8 goals, 11 assists, 19 points in 43 games.
That's still better than Josh Bailey.
That's right on par with Ruslan Ishikov.
It's still better than Josh Bailey.
I figured you get a little tiny kick out of that. My goodness gracious. Did the Flames win tonight, Grump?
Yes. I think they win today.
McKinnon and McDavid are two quirked up white boys, goated with the sauce. Jesus, if that's not dialect of today's day and age, I couldn't even tell you what that means. The Flames now, says Frank. Paulo C says, if Carolina advances and plays Tampa, I'll go for Carolina because I don't want Tampa to win a third cup. But having said that, I don't think Carolina will beat them.
I agree. I see Tampa Bay going to the finals. And the more that I watch Colorado, the more I think they're not going to beat Tampa.
Frank saying, no way. A Yes member died. Rest in peace, Ray Liotta. Rest in peace, my buddy from high school, Brian Vaughn.
Oh, well, sorry to hear that, Frank.
And James ARF saying, rest in peace, Andy Fletcher. What is that? Depeche Mode?
Depeche Mode. What? Depeche Mode?
Depeche.
It's Depeche Mode.
What's Depeche Mode?
They were a band in the 80s or 90s. They were like a synthesizer band. You've heard some of their stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Probably not. Nico said, what's the score that you guys predict for the Champions League final? Ooh, and who do you think will score the goals? I'll let you take that one first, Grump.
I'm going 2-1 Real Madrid. I'm going to say Benzema Rodrigo score for Real, and I don't care who scores for Liverpool.
Going 3-1 Liverpool.
Ugh.
Goals for Liverpool are going to come from Sadio Mane, 1 from Mane, 1 from Salah, and maybe a header. I don't throw in a head in goal by somebody on the back line. Or maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold finds a way to sneak one in. Who the hell knows? And I think the goal from Real is coming from Vinicius.
Okay. All I have to say is one thing. Real will still be playing La Liga, and Liverpool will still be in the Premier League, and Burnley will not be there.
Thanks. Like that. Did you take a little front because I said that maybe Real Madrid's not going to beat Liverpool because Liverpool's a fantastic squad? Did that hurt your little feelings, Grumpy?
You said 3-1. It wasn't even close. It's a blowout, 3-1.
Oh, no. Again, like 3-1 could be it's a 2-1 game and Real Madrid's pressing, putting on pressure, and they go ahead and get countered and they give up a goal late to make it 3-1. That's how I see that happening. Champions League games usually are not freaking blowouts. I could see that being a 2-1 close game. Real Madrid's pressing, and it's a quick counter coming the other way from Liverpool, and they're able to exploit, with speed.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that Real Madrid's going to win. And I didn't. All I stated was both those teams will still be in the upper echelon leagues, and Burnley will not. That's all I said.
Yeah, and Barzal scored tying goal there for Canada today against Sweden. Yeah, I did see that. That's right. My daughter told me Depeche Mode, Bossy, Gillies, and Aaron. Too many young people dying.
Yeah,
it's a fake. It's a scam. And Mad Dog was a classic, best of all time in the interviews.
Yeah, man, he was aggressive in the interviews without a doubt.
TJ, Mad Dog is a legend. He loves Mad Dog. Oh gosh, Mad Dog's a legend. Oh my gosh, Christ Almighty. He did get Matt Barzal did get an interesting cake for his birthday. I'll tell you that much.
Can we look at it or no?
Thanks for that, Drew. I appreciate that. He did get a cake.
Is that a booby cake?
Yeah, it looks like a breast cake. So, well, hopefully it tasted good.
I bet it did.
Anyway, guys, what's going on in the AHL playoffs after the Islanders got eliminated? I didn't watch anymore.
I haven't watched. You know, they've been texting me wanting me to get more tickets for the playoff games.
Brandon Gaines here says, "I'm not giving up on the Blues to win the cup. Get to the Western Conference Finals with a healthy Krug, and sky's the limit."
Yeah, see, that's another thing. They've lost Torrey Krug, which is a big loss for them. He's out there in the last minutes. Absolutely.
And goal, the Flames and Johnny Hockey. Johnny Gaudreau.
Johnny Hockey. Yeah.
They score first. They strike first. Grumpy old man. Look at that. Matt Barzal. Oh my God, that Matt Barzal look is something else.
He looked happy.
Yeah. He had that weird look on his face. That's for certain. I want to talk one more thing. You know, this kind of, I think, ties a little bit into, our fan fight segment, Grumpy.
I love the fan fight segment.
This is something a little different. So fan fights are very popular here on the show. This is a new sport, and it's literally called hockey fights. As you can tell, this is a brand new sport, and I feel like this may find a consistent spot in show on this podcast.
Absolutely, this will be a featured channel for hockey fights. Yes.
And you could tell, right? You got everybody sitting here. It's just people. I mean, you get right there on the action. I love how they dress them up. They're still wearing all the hockey pads. They're still wearing all the equipment, but they literally just go out there to pummel the living shit out of each other. And how could you not love that? It's a brand new sport, Grumpy Old Man. It's getting slept on. I'm not sure many people have picked up on this sport, but this is brand new. I don't know how long it's been. This is the first time I've seen it was today.
In the defense, they do put on like the gloves that are good for punching. They're not boxing gloves.
They don't put on hockey gloves.
They can protect. They're not hockey gloves either. They're
UFC fighting gloves.
Yes. And they have them on. So this way, when you punch helmets, you're not breaking hands and stuff like that. So that's good. I wonder if they have, hopefully there's no visors involved. I don't want to see any visors on the players.
No visors. Trust me, there's no visors. Here's the other thing I wonder about. How many fights do these guys go through a day? Is it just one fight and you're done? Do you, there's a lot more research I need to do about this new fantastic sport. Professional hockey fighting.
No, I mean, checks.
I love this right here. They get where they're from. They go ahead and give us both there from Alberta. One from Calgary, one from Legal. Look at this. Okay, I'll let you watch. I'm not going to hit pause.
Bo Cornell and Travis Check.
Yeah, we'll watch it once all the way through, Grumpy, and then we'll watch again, maybe in slow-mo.
No, and Check's only 5'7", but he comes well.
God almighty. Little guy's throwing that 5'7".
College hockey player on the ACHA
Cornell.
He's talking some shit.
Oh! He stuck his ass there. Go! Oh!
Check comes in. All these guys are feisty. They're feisty. That is so no, and Check's only
These guys are feisty. They're feisty. Obviously, those are the highlights of the fight, but my God, this has got a potential to be a fantastic sport to watch.
I already want to watch this all the time.
Could you
Jeez.
Holy shit, that 5'7" guy. God almighty.
He got the jersey, ragdolled him a little bit, and he landed a couple of blows.
I don't think Bo Cornell's been skating all that often and fighting all that often. Looks like Travis Check is a mean son of a 5'7". As you can tell, the venue for this event is massive, Grump. They are packing a full arena full of fans, Grump.
Yep, all 25 of them.
Oh, good gracious. Oh man, oh man. I love how everybody at the arena is all wearing shorts. Or they're
Ice
all wearing
Wars. It's called
t-shirts.
Ice Wars.
Ice Wars. Ice Wars is what River Creek. I think it's Creek, but it's CREE is the huge sponsor.
Now, here's the thing. You got to be able to skate a little bit. You got to be able to stand up. You got to take a couple of blows. And I wonder if they have to have the jerseys tied down or if it's a penalty. Is that like a point away from the guys? I don't know.
You let them get a free punch at you. You got to stand there with your hands down and try to avoid it. But River Cree Casino and a resort and casino, but there's no K on the end of it, is a huge sponsor on this, Grumpy.
Yeah.
Could be on the front lines of something big.
Yeah, I think so. Ice Wars.
Ice freaking Wars.
I like it. Look at him. He's getting a little tough. He's doing like the fake punch thing from like 10 foot away. Leading with his face. He's doing the TJ special. Boom.
He didn't even do it that hard, but I mean, he connected.
I mean, but he keeps missing. I mean, he got him a little bit of an uppercut.
Jesus Christ.
I tell you what, Bo is just not real steady on his skates. That's
I was about to say, Bo must not have been a great fighter back even during his college days.
I just think it's hard to get on the skates like that.
I got to look up Bo Cornell. I got to look him up on hockeyfights.com to see what his record was.
And Travis Check as well.
Yeah, let me go ahead and look up Bo here first. Okay, here it is. They've got a Mike Cornell. That's not the right one.
Maybe it's Mike Bo. Mike, he can't even stand up when he's not getting punched. The other guy can skate a little bit. It looks like he's right out of prison.
He played for the University of Jamestown Jimmies.
Oh my
Bo
God.
Cornell. What the hell is that? I've never heard of that college. He played for the it's a Mike Cornell.
He just leads with his face. Just jab him. That's all you got to do. Look at him. He looks like he's spinning around like a top when you hit him with one jab. It's just a grazing. He's got him, and then he lets him. Oh, come on, Bo. I bet Bo was not a fighter. He's probably a goal scorer or something. Don't look like a pugilist to me.
He was a big goal scorer for the University of Jamestown Jimmies. What a freaking mascot, the Jimmies. Let me pull up here. Travis.
Gators ladies got to wear the Jimmies.
Almighty. Gators bitches better be wearing Jimmies, as Grumpy says.
That's it. Yeah.
Let's see here. Travis Check. Let me put it like this. He's been in hockey fights dating back to YouTube's inception, I think back to 2010.
I like how they have to have two referees for this.
God almighty.
It's like, look at my career. Oh, look at this. I mean, he's got the advantage. He just didn't come in. And then he hold him, and he just everything trying to be uppercut. Boom. He got hit in the chest and he fell down. I mean, here's the thing. Bo was not much of a skater. I'm just gonna say either that or they put like, okay, your left skate is going on your right foot, so it makes it more difficult. Maybe that's why he couldn't stay up on skates.
I'll put you like this. Travis Check has a lot of penalty minutes to show from his short time. He actually played for the Humboldt Broncos back in the day.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so he was jumping all over the place. He played for the Rocky Rams. I mean, he's all over the place. No big name teams. A guy that definitely had more penalty minutes than games every single year. So, hey, this gives your guys like your Doug Glatz, like the Goon, a chance to go ahead and shine and get their 15 minutes of fame. Who doesn't love that?
I don't know.
And I hope the Islanders get Johnny Hockey, franchise-changing player.
Absolutely. I'm 100% behind that.
Mm-hmm. And then
absolutely. Then get Burkowski with that. Get yourself a left shot defenseman. And now you're cooking with gas, honestly.
The only way that St. Louis can win the cup is if Binghamton comes back from the injury, or else you can only dream.
True. 100% agree with that.
I love the hit and a nice little fake there by Travis. Laughing. I'm going to say, oh my God, they go down. I was about to say, now I have to remember what this is called so I don't forget it. It's called, what is it, Grumpy, that I said just?
Ice Wars. Ice
Wars. Ice Wars.
And I think it was the site was FITE something.
You know what? Ice Wars. That's all I need to be on the lookout for is Ice Wars. Okay. Holy crap.
Okay.
Organized hockey fighting is taking over the globe. My God, that's fantastic.
It's great. It's great. I love that. I love it. Fan fights. I mean, professional ice hockey fighting. Oh, it's great. Ice Wars. Great.
Bo was just a quirked up white boy. Definitely not goated with the sauce. Again, to all the young individuals, maybe that means something. Dude, the little jab knocked him back for certain.
He did a
You guys should
spinorama.
be in Ice Wars. Who would win?
I would win.
Oh, stop.
Here's the thing. TJ's already been beaten by Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, okay.
I saw a video with some guy.
We're continuing here, moving right along.
Oh, we're going to ignore that, huh? Okay.
Because you do that dumb shit all the time. You believe it or not, we try to stay on schedule, Grump. Because we have other items we have to cover, and not just that. We're an hour into the show, like how you wanted to introduce crazy topics 2 hours and 30 minutes in yesterday. I got to keep you on topic, Grumpy. Got to keep you on topic. I said we showed the video before of Lee Hextall. Yeah, I was like, man, it just all it does is make me angry. I can't listen to that one again. Where she goes, he says you're not tough. Is that true? It's it's awful journalism. Anyway, want to talk a little football because I know that's going to take a good portion here. NFL is considering ways they can improve the Pro Bowl, possibly including eliminating the traditional game and using the Sunday to showcase the players in it. You know, essentially, what are the alternatives? So they're doing like possibly a no tackle, just like drill type of work. Ugh.
They were talking about a football slam dunk contest.
Jesus Christ!
I sent you an article on that this evening on possible things they could do. Okay, nobody watches the Pro Bowl now. Is anyone going to watch it? It's football, and now what do you want to take out of it? The football aspect.
We want to watch football players play other sports. Let's put them out there and dunk on the basketball. Let's have them play badminton.
I mean, why don't you just say no? Just say we're not going to do this anymore. I can understand you don't want to get the players hurt playing football. It's a physical sport, but now it's just a joke. It's like two-hand touch.
The Pro Bowl has been a joke for the last decade and a half at least.
It's just ridiculous. It used to be a game when I was a kid. They actually played hard. Now it's ridiculous. Just stop it altogether. I mean, maybe there's something where they have to provide the network with something on that day. I mean, but who wants to watch like a football slam dunk contest? I don't.
I'll tell you that much. Now, I want you to watch this.
This is what they could do. Have the football players try to play baseball. Maybe that's what.
Yeah, let's have them play a home run derby contest. Let's have them play a dunk contest. Let's have them play the hardest slap shot contest and the fastest skater and who's got the hardest serve in tennis. I mean, come on. I don't want to see them. Okay, come on. Nobody wants to see that stuff. I guess they're trying to find out how can we draw on the most eyes.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? They're going to do NFL combine stuff for the NFL players. Who's going to throw the ball the longest? Who can make the most ridiculous one-handed catch? That's the type of shit they're going to be talking about. Oh, a one-handed catch competition. And it's going to be like the dunk contest. Whoa, that was a great one-handed catch. Cool, I guess. Here's the thing. It's better than what it is now. What it is now is unwatchable. I will not watch it. I can't watch the Pro Bowl. It's awful.
I can't even remember the last time I saw a Pro Bowl game.
2007, maybe 2006.
I want to say it's even further back than that.
I was about to say that's the last time I watched a Pro Bowl. They played a little bit then.
It's been decades.
Now, I want you to have a chance to watch this. I'm not sure. Phillies were struggling this game or something. We talk about those plays in sports where it looks like everybody has a fuck up. Well, the Philadelphia Phillies had one of those day recently, Grumpy, and I wanted to share it with you. A little bit of a wild pitch. Steal second.
Move. Both guys miss. Move! Jeez. That's a trifecta of missing a wow, he walks on.
Oh my God. I was about to say, can we talk a little bit about the mess ups here? Let's look at this one more time, Grumpy. I'll put this on slow-mo so we can go ahead and go easy.
Yeah, let's take one at a time. First, the pitch is not good. It's in the dirt. I mean, that's like a 57-footer. He picks up, he throws it right down there. Should have been caught, just misses it somehow.
What the hell is the shortstop? What the hell is the shortstop looking at?
I mean, but how did the second baseman miss it? He's right there. It's not like that. He's right there.
I think it was a little high.
Oh, all he's got to do is stand up.
No, he should have had that.
No,
Holy crap.
He's got to stand up. You got to stop the ball.
He's got to jump up and catch that thing.
His feet are on the ground.
He doesn't even jump. Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm saying. His feet are on the ground. He's got to stop the ball. That ball just went over his glove. Second shortstop was kind of floating. Why? Because he's like, well, shit, he's got to catch that one. He's getting paid $1 million, $10 million a year. He'll be able to catch that. So it goes right by the shortstop.
You like the credit card vertical here by Jean?
That's what I said. It's like he's got to make that catch. All right, the throw is not perfect on the runner, but he's got to make that catch. Shortstop misses it, but now here comes the worst.
Look at the way he's looking at it. He's like, "Oh, hold on a second.
Holy shit, he missed it."
And what's better?
The best one. Here's the best one.
Doop-de-doop-de-doo.
I mean, all he's got to do is field it, and the play's over. Goes right by him. Here, boys and girls, here's the thing. You got to get down in front of the ball. Got to get down in front of it.
The little alligator.
The whole thing is the runner was going nowhere. He was laying on the base. All he's got to do is catch it, and the play is over. Instead, he doesn't do the fundamentals, which I always teach fundamentals. If he plays fundamentally sound, there's no run scored. It's like,
you think you're gonna throw him at? Well, like, what's the point of you? Like, he's trying to run in this, like he's trying to gun somebody down.
Yeah,
what's the point of running into it? The son of a bitch is on second, laying down. You're picking up like you're ready to rifle it back to second base. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, terrible.
Jesus Christ! Oh, he's trying to get like, oh, I'm gonna pick it up so quick, and we're gonna go ahead and catch him.
What a nightmare!
Jesus Christ. Who had the biggest F up? Let me ask you that. Who had the biggest F up on that one, Grump?
The outfielder.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. The catcher did a good job blocking. Like I said, because that was a bad pitch. He's got to catch that. The shortstop gets a pass. Shortstop gets a pass from me. Second baseman got to catch it. But the outfield, the ball just rolling. It doesn't even roll the fence. I mean, geez, it's not like he threw it. It's not like, I mean, shit. That ball was rolling for 40 foot before it even got to him. And look at this guy.
It's probably moonwalk his way to home plate.
That's right. That's what he was doing. He was doing the little moonwalk, the backwards moonwalk. Yeah. Billie Jean, that's my love.
Oh my God. Sometimes, when it rains, it pours and nothing goes right. I figured, sometimes there just is those moments where everything that can go wrong does go wrong.
That should be a baseball season segment, by the way.
Yes. Everything that can go wrong does go wrong. I'm down for that because there are plenty of times when people just make awful mistakes, and that'd be fun to highlight.
Yes.
James F. said the Raiders don't need Kaepernick. They're not picking up Kaepernick. And there's so many. Here's the thing. Like Cam Newton's not great, but Cam Newton's a better backup option than Cap. I heard Cam Newton's getting a few opportunities if he's willing to accept being a backup.
Cam Newton's not a backup. He's not a backup. Unless he needs the money, he won't be playing. He will not.
He does. He'd get a new outfit every single time.
Like I said, unless he needs the money, because if he doesn't need the money, I don't think his ego would let him be a backup.
Drew L said Pat McAfee even said the Pro Bowl was a joke. It for certain is.
Yes.
Oh, how about ice fights in the NFL Pro Bowl? That's what I can get behind, James. People just bare knuckling it, just punching and beating the living hell out of each other like that, but they're on the ice. So you really have to be balanced like that. I want to have people like stepping out.
I want to see them put linemen on ice skates. I think that'd be hilarious.
Oh, that would be great. That would be amazing. Honestly, this will never happen, but the NFL parkour would be a treat to watch. You want to talk about injury possibilities? Oof, having those big 300-pound men trying to do parkour, be snapping knees and arms in half. Not a fan. I don't want to see gruesome injuries. I'm not a big fan of that. Drell said it should be a trivia game. If the player gets it wrong, the quarterback just chucks it in the back of the player, make it hurt.
Or they could do the Badansky on him, where you let him rush in and you hit him in the nether region, as I said in the original Longest Yard.
Oh God. Phillies still had better fielding than Gleyber Torres at shortstop last season. The Phillies have to be the most frustrating. Oh, Joseph C said the Phillies have to be the most frustrating team in the majors. They goes to show how overrated a great manager with a winning pedigree is, in my opinion. The team should be 3 games. That team should not be 3 games under 500 with that roster.
Again, players win games, managers lose them.
They've got great players on the team. A really good team.
Well, but they're not. For whatever reason, they're not performing.
Alexander says, don't be shocked if they do. And how about the ice fights in the NHL All-Star game?
I think that'd be great.
But
blindfold them.
Char will just have to be, if he can make it. What is that, Grump?
Blindfold them.
Honestly, that could be a little cool. You know what? For ice fights, the ice fights, all-star fights, they need to blindfold each other.
Okay.
They need an all-star game for the NHL or the ice fights.
The best thing is like in wrestling, they'd have blindfold match, And Jake the Snake Roberts was great at it. He was so good. And you see the guys scramble. Oh, like they're blind. They don't know where to go. They got like little thing tied around their heads, and they're blinded. And he's feeling around. Oh, to the left, to the left. I mean, come on. It's hilarious. But that's what they should do: blindfold matches. And let like a tiger loose in there too. Let them chew the shit out of guys. Or a dog, a pack dog.
Jesus H. Reports are that DeGrom, Joseph C. says here, might be ready by the end of June. I pray that's true because they need him.
I do also because I have him on my fantasy team. He's been on my DL all year.
Guys,
come on, Jacob DeGrom.
Guys, any info on Tortorella and Trotz's job opportunities?
Trotz will get a job. Absolutely.
For certain he will. And he will help a team. He will help a team. No doubt in my mind. The team he joins will have a better record next year than they had this year.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Alexander says Tom Wilson versus Ryan Reeves and Matt Martin against Ryan Reeves. Matt Martin's finished. Maybe Ross Johnston.
I take Ryan Reeves in both of those fights.
Yeah. Some announcers said that Trotz would have a job in days. Hasn't it been weeks now? I think he'll have a job this year, no doubt.
It'll be 2 weeks on Monday since he was fired. It's not been that long. Just seems that way.
I'm about to say forever in Islander land. Jarrell said, here's Grumpy making his furry noises again.
I don't remember what the noise was, but I do remember making a noise.
James F. said, when are your phone call shows coming? I don't know. I got to talk with Grump about it. We'll get on the same page here for the summer. We'll get some phone calls going up, and we've got to schedule the guests. I got to get all that done, and we'll make sure we have which days are call-in days. We'll make sure we advertise that big time.
Saturdays are call-in days.
And we'll let you know which Saturdays will be.
Okay.
We don't want to have call-ins when we have guests because it adds a whole different level of complexity if we can avoid it. So
no guests on Saturdays. I've just solved your problem. Wednesday is guest day.
Jesus, easier said than done. Joseph C. said, the Rangers broke my heart tonight. I feel like this is going to be the same series Carolina had against Boston where every home team won. No excuse. They only had 16 shots tonight. Wow. I didn't know they only had 16 shots tonight.
Through the first 2 periods, Carolina outplayed them totally. They had so many, again, missing wide open nets, clanking off posts left and right. I mean, Carolina's better than the Rangers. Just are.
Got a comment here as well. Drell saying, here's the fantasy hockey blueprint. Get a goalie who plays under the Trotz system and draft every underrated Islander young gun on the consensus. Stopson, Barzal, etc.
There you go.
A sec here, Grump.
Yeah. I know we have some football news.
Yes, I know. This is something I did want to bring up. This is true. Alexander asking, did you see the Winnie the Pooh horror movie? I know you have no idea what that is, Grumpy. But let me put you like this. Winnie the Pooh's having a horror movie coming out. Just want you to take a look at this nightmare.
Oh, jeez. He looks like Scooby-Doo.
It's definitely something. Let me put it you like that. I'm trying to see because I had a whole bunch. Yeah, look at these. Look at these images. Christ almighty. Who is that Piglet right there that's got tusks on him now?
This looks like almost like a Winnie the Pooh porno movie. What's that girl doing in the pool? Who is the girl?
I don't know who the girl is.
Looks like something bad.
Doesn't look like Christopher Robbins. I'll tell you that much.
It does not look. Maybe Christine.
Christopher Robbins is looking mighty different in this video.
Yeah.
Yes, it's nightmare fuel. That's for certain. We did see that, but I figured I'd show you that.
I had not seen that, so that's interesting.
Ooh. Oh, sorry. Who's that?
Mangiapane.
Mangiapane scored tonight, not Johnny Hockey. And that's Piglet. Oof. Yeah, nobody likes Piglet. Yikes. Yes, we do have some football news, though.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, still a possibility to be moved, right? It seems like the Carolina Panthers are heavily in on trading for a quarterback. The names that are being thrown around, Baker Mayfield, as well as Jimmy Garoppolo. The Panthers were interested in negotiating for the Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield, but wanted the Browns to pay $13 to $14 million of his $18.8 million contract. So they essentially wanted Baker Mayfield almost for free for $4.8 million.
And another article I sent you today said that the Browns are willing to pick up salary for Baker Mayfield.
I'm just think to yourself, though, they need to eat in order to move Baker Mayfield after they traded, right? Was it 4 first-round picks for – how many first-round picks was it for Deshaun Watson they traded?
3.
I'm sorry, 3 first-round picks. Gave him every single penny was guaranteed money. Got the Deshaun Watson treatment, all guaranteed money. They trade away the quarterback who was their starter for the last 3 or 4 years, but would have to consume about 60 to 70% of the cap hit.
Again, but you cannot bring him on the team. You can't have your backup making $20 million against the cap. You cannot do it. He's never going to play. You cannot have the backup quarterback making $20 million against cap.
How many more years does Baker Mayfield have left in the contract?
This is his last year.
Okay, so shit. If they're only going to eat, if you trade him, you're only getting $5.8 million off the book, or $5.8 million off the book. Best case scenario is what they wanted, right? If they're going to eat 13, and it was his original contract is worth 18.8. Shit, I might as well just keep him. Find $5.8 million elsewhere.
Okay, well, guess what? What are you going to do? Start cutting people now, 2 weeks before training camp? Or a month before training camp?
Very good idea.
Please,
very good idea.
Please. They want to get his money off the book so they can make another move. Right now, they're hamstring. They can't do anything else because you have your backup making $20 million against the cap.
You want to know another team that's hamstrung because their backup makes $20+ million against the cap? The San Francisco 49ers.
Again, these teams overplayed their hands, asking for too much for these guys. Everyone knew that as soon as Deshaun Watson was signed, Mayfield had to go. As soon as everyone knew Jimmy Garoppolo was getting traded this offseason. So what happens? You hold on to them too long. Now everyone has their quarterbacks for the most part. So the amount of teams that need a quarterback are what? Seattle and the Panthers. That's it. Everybody else has their quarterback. So the market is small. So you're not going to get what you thought you could get. That's why you got to move guys early.
And Kyle Shanahan still saying he expects Jimmy Garoppolo to be traded this offseason. Nothing's a guarantee in this league, but the shoulder surgery had put everything on hold.
Yeah, they probably wanted too much for him. They could have moved him earlier.
They said, I think Jimmy Garoppolo also might be traded to Carolina. But he has to pass the physicals first. I think it gets done, but it all depends on how much he heals. Like Carolina's been between a rock and a hard place because guess what? Jimmy Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield are not the freaking answer at quarterback. I don't know how many more teams and how many more journeyman. I mean, they're journeyman quarterbacks. They're guys who are game managers, right? Why the hell do you think that's going to be the answer to your issues? You've got a bad game manager there already in Sam Darnold. And now you want to bring in another subpar quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo or Baker Mayfield? Yikes.
Okay. I'd say Garoppolo is more of a game manager. He's 31 years old. Baker Mayfield's still young. I mean,
I think Baker, if I'm picking one of the two, I think I don't know. I'm not high on Baker.
I know you're not.
I'm also not high on Jimmy G.
Okay. But who has a chance to potentially turn into something moving forward with proper coaching?
Baker Mayfield has a higher potential to turn into something.
That's all I'm saying.
But the ceiling is so low.
I don't know. I think Jimmy Garoppolo's ceiling is minuscule.
He has no ceiling. So this is something I want to bring up, right? They're hamstrung. Deebo Samuel wants a new contract, hasn't gotten it yet. He said he will not report to team activities today, per Rappaport.
Why would they give him a new contract? He's still got 2 more years on his current deal. Because
they'll threaten to sit out and not play.
Then sit out, then you don't get paid. And he doesn't want to be used the way he's been used. The thing that's made him most valuable is that hybrid role that he runs. They have 2 more years of control over him before he's a free agent. I mean, okay, you want to play out these 2, and then we'll give you a contract extension for 5 years after that. I'm cool with that if I'm ownership. But I'm not tearing up your rookie freaking contract to give you some mega deal now. That's just not happening. Because you save money on these guys when they come into the league. Then if they're any good, they make money hand over fist.
As of today, though, he was spotted back in the Bay Area. So people are saying, oh, maybe Debo's going to return back. He'll be there for minicamp on June the 14th. Maybe that's what it means. Maybe we also have got some contract extensions and negotiations going on. I don't know. The entire situation's messy. And do you remember when everything looked messy in the entire contract situation with Russell Wilson last year? And people were trying to say, oh, man, they got everything sorted before the season started. It was not a good working relationship last year, which certainly didn't help his production. And he was gone the year after. You know what I mean? It's one of those things to where unless they give him a new contract, I'm not sure it gets solved, the issues they have.
Then you just run him out for 2 years. You beat the hell out of him for 2 years and you let him go. I mean, the fact that he doesn't want to play the hybrid role anymore, that's what makes him appealing. He's a big kid who can play that running back / wide receiver role, and he's really, really good at it. He's phenomenal at it. But at some point in time, you got to say, sorry, brother, you got to wait until your contract's up before you get a new one. We're not tearing up your contract after 2 years in the league. That's just not happening.
Oh, yeah. Jesus. Yeah. Kyler Murray's missing OTAs, by the way.
Well, he wants, I mean, do you think he's earned a contract extension that he's looking for?
I don't.
He's
asking for a lot of money. He's never done it in the postseason, but he's a quarterback, though. They get paid.
Okay. Well, but again, he's still under contract for how many years? Has he got 2 more years left on his deal? How many? What's he been, 3 years in the league?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, Grumpy. Oops.
Okay. He's definitely going to get the 5th-year option. They're definitely going to put that in there. Why would you not? You have the leverage for the first 5 years if you're a first-round draft pick. That's what you have. If you don't use it, you're a fool.
Well, I want you to listen to it. We've got here Marcus Spears. I actually might just pop this up on screen. They're talking about Kyler Murray and talking about him wanting and demanding this, right? Pro Football Focus, you see just up here, they said they could see as much as a 6-year, $280 million contract, Grump.
He's going to have to win something or be able to play well after week 10 in the season.
$45 million a year.
Yeah.
Pretty decent, Grumpy. I think I can make that work.
You think?
I'm 100% with you. I'm going to go, you talked about the guys that's available, but I think it's irresponsible for Kyler Murray not to show up. The last time we saw Kyler Murray on the field, it was abysmal. Him and Cliff Kingsbury need all the on-field activities that they can get in order to get going in the right direction. And you mentioned D-Hop as well. Kyler is going to have to make up for that because he has not. I want to show y'all who Kyler Murray is without DeAndre Hopkins in the lineup.
Wow.
Those ain't numbers that I told them to write down so I could look good. That's the reality of Kyler Murray without DeAndre Hopkins. And now you're starting the season without DeAndre Hopkins the first 6 games of the season. We've talked about your contract. We've lamented about why would you do this early? I'm not going to get into money because every guy I think that plays in the NFL deserves their money. I think the irresponsibility comes from the fact that Kyler Murray has to lead the Arizona Cardinals. And he's too young, in my opinion, of a quarterback not to partake in this based on what they are trying to do this season and how it has ended the previous 2 years of his career so far. I think it's very irresponsible for him not to be there.
True.
Like well said, Grumpy.
Yes, without a doubt. What's he done? What's he won? Nothing. I would love to see his stats the first 10 or 11 weeks of the year and the rest because he noticeably tails off the second half of the year.
Well, now I'm interested to see, too, is it how bad of a start is he going to have without DeAndre Hopkins? You know what I mean? Christian Kirk now is gone, and now you're without DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, they did
get Hollywood Brown, right? You brought him in.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopkins is the man there, though, receiver-wise. I think we can agree with that, right?
Yeah. Drew L says, honestly, you guys might be too old to understand this joke, but look up the song Animals by Martin Garrix and tell me that the video does not look like Winnie the Pooh horror movie. Oh, I'm familiar with the song. I'll have to look it up later because, we don't take the stream down. Frank says here, I think the Islanders players will benefit from Trotz pushing defense on them. Now they'll be able to play more offense with the new coach, but will always have the defensive experience, which is a good combination.
Agreed. But they need better players. That's the thing they need the most, better players. Systems only get you so far. Players win games.
Let me ask you this, Grumpy. I was going to ask you this. Do you think Tampa, anybody could stop Tampa right now?
This year?
Yes. Do you think anybody can stop Tampa right now?
Colorado is the only team with a shot. Because their offense is really good. But then I watch games like I see where, they don't look great. I'm just not sold on Kemper in goal for them.
They're not going up against Husso in net. And I'll tell you one thing, looking at how porous that defense is when you put pressure on them, I'm not sure they even are in the same league.
Yeah. Tampa's the favorite to win the whole thing.
Which team is not in on Baker Mayfield? Oh, the Dolphins aren't in on him.
Oh.
There it is.
Maybe they should be.
Carolina should make that deal because at least Mayfield could make them a playoff caliber team with 6 or 7 wins with Darnold or Newton starting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they got Matt Corral as the guy they drafted, who I like, by the way, from Ole Miss. I think he has a chance to turn out to be something, but he's not going to be out this year. Matt Rule is the head coach. He's on the hot seat. If they don't win something,
3rd year, my God, he should have been on a hot seat last year.
Okay, but he's had 3 different quarterbacks in 3 years.
Hate to say the guy he traded for the quarterback that he wanted last offseason, right?
Well, I don't know. He's not the GM.
They had the ability to draft a quarterback early in the draft last year, and they didn't do that.
He's not the GM.
Okay, the GM and the coach ideally should be on the same page.
Okay, but he's not the GM. He's not the guy making the picks. I think they should have drafted a quarterback last year as well. Who they picked a cornerback from South Carolina? Was it Joe Horn?
Horn. Yeah, something
Joe Horn.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, you need cornerbacks, but a quarterback is the most important thing.
And it was a quarterback-heavy draft last year. Drew L says Giants realistically need a quarterback, but they are seemingly giving Daniel Jones one last chance. It's foolish. Daniel Jones is not the answer. He's freaking awful. I mean, he's got to go.
He's not.
Although it seems like Kenny Galladay and Robbie Anderson have one thing in common. They complain about their quarterbacks.
They're not great wide receivers either. They're good wide receivers on crappy teams.
Yeah, they put up fantasy numbers when your team's getting when the Panthers and when the Giants are getting obliterated, and when the Detroit Lions are getting obliterated. They're down,
Jets.
28 points in the 4th quarter, and your team's just throwing to try to get back. And Matt Stafford at the time period is feeding the ball to Galladay, and he's catching. Oh, in the 4th quarter, he catches 7 passes for 80 yards and a touchdown.
You want to know what I call those guys? Stat stuffers.
Yep.
When the game's over or you're blown out, you're putting up numbers. There's guys like that in hockey too. Brock Nelson, Anders Lee.
Paulo C said Golden State is taking care of business tonight, smashing Dallas 83-62 and going to win a cakewalk series. I don't know about you guys, but for me, basketball is a forgotten sport since COVID. I think that was that
100% agree.
Absolutely. I used to actually look forward to the NBA finals every single year, and I'm just like, yeah, no thanks. It's just the disparity in the league is so awful. Every single game's a freaking blowout.
It's just not fun to watch. The game has changed, and I love the game in the 80s. I thought that the teams were really, really good. Team defense, really good run offense. Everything's an isolation play now. It's like it's hard to watch. I'm not saying the players aren't good, because they are, but everything's a slam or a 3-point shot. That's it. That's the way they play. And it's like isolation ball. Like I said, it's just disappointing.
Not entertaining to watch.
Right. Boston Celtics, Golden State Warriors in the final.
Yep. Daniel Jones deserves a chance with a good coach. For the record, I'm a Jets fan. Zach Wilson will kill it with all those weapons.
As long as Fat Boy can stay out of the dining room, they'll be okay.
Mekhi Becton you're talking about, of course.
Yeah, I bet you he's back over 400 pounds.
Oh, come on.
He's a pig.
Okay, if Debo Samuel sits out, Brandon Ayuk will actually be the wide receiver he was supposed to be. Debo didn't play in 2020. Remember when people said Ayuk was better than Debo? What a joke. Ayuk is a damn good he's a really good wide receiver. Here's the thing. Ayuk is more of a deep ball threat type of guy. And
Jimmy,
Debo Samuel's a guy who catches little slants, he catches little routes and does a lot with yards after the catch. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have a strong enough arm to throw the ball 20 plus yards downfield accurately, consistently. So Brandon Ayuk was essentially worthless. So
right. He had the lowest amount of actual yards down the field the ball was thrown, like 7 yards.
well, and here's the thing too. Brandon Ayuk was forced to play the Debo Samuel role when Debo Samuel was hurt. When Debo Samuel healthy, they said, "Fantastic, we can play you the role we ideally imagine you to do."
But that's not him. He's not built like Samuel is.
Mm-mm.
Debo Samuel's built like a damn running back. He is, where Ayuk is
He's a
built
little light.
okay, yeah, but what's he weigh? 220?
No, what? Debo Samuel doesn't weigh 220.
What is his weight? Here's the thing. Brandon Ayuk is what, $190, maybe 200?
Holy shit, Debo Samuel's 216.
Yeah, 220.
Wow. Brandon Ayuk is 201.
Yeah, there's 15 pounds. And what's the height? Look at the height too, right?
6 foot for Debo Samuel. Brandon
6'2".
Ayuk, 6 foot.
Yeah. So think about it. Debo Samuel's built like a running back. I'm not saying he's a running back, but he's built like a running back. That's why those plays work with him. Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk is not. He is
Just
wide receiver all the way.
Joseph C. said, I'm still concerned about Zach Wilson. His short passing accuracy wasn't good last year. But as a Jets fan, I hope he's making some incremental progress. I love his arm and his ability to scramble, though. I was about to say, I think he's got a really high ceiling, and this year will be an important year. I think he'll show signs of progression. That's what really you're looking for as a Jets fan. Is he progressing?
I thought he was better when he came back from the injury. I thought he played much better the tail end of the season for the Jets. I think he'll be better with Garrett Wilson there. Elijah Moore being healthy for the full year. Braxton Berrios back. Can the offensive line protect for him? Breece Hall is also a nice pickup at running back for them.
And we got here another comment here from Frank saying, I hope the Islanders draft like my Jets did. Okay, come on, Screwy Louie. You can do it. Hopefully they do. I like the name Screwy Louie. Yeah, it's good. Drill says, yep. So the Cardinals should theoretically go up it should be 2-4 with DeAndre Hopkins being out on the roida.
Yeah.
Being out for roids. Yeah. They're going to struggle. I think that, I don't envision them going 5-1 or 6-0. I mean, they were off to a hot start last year. What did they start off the season 5-1 or something crazy like that?
They were like, I think, 9-2 at one point in time.
I know. I think
they were leading. They were leading the NFC for a while.
Yep. Grump, did you ever see a welcome back Carter?
Yes, I did. It was okay.
Frank's in here. Colorado can beat Tampa. I don't know. I still think Tampa just head over heels better.
Yeah, I think Colorado can beat Tampa. Will they beat them is a whole nother question.
Drill says Luka Doncic is a cheat code in real life. He's fantastic. He's fantastic. Alexander saying here, Tua. What, Grumpy? What do you want to say about Luka?
He needs to lose a little bit of weight and get in better shape.
Okay. Alexander says Tua is better than Baker. Baker sucks. I don't know. I think they're both on playing similar playing field. They're both guys who are average to below average quarterbacks.
True. I think that Mayfield's arm is better than Tua's.
Alexander has way too much confidence in noodle arm Tua with a little tongue out face. Yeah. JC Horn.
JC Horn. That's who it was for the Panthers.
But he loves Tua. He thinks he's. Yeah, my buddy loves Tua. I think he's got a rag arm. He doesn't have a great arm.
No.
Now it's a 9-point game in the Mavericks game. It's not over. Dub's still up, though. And Trey Lance's arm is worse than Jimmy G's. I think I've seen enough. I don't believe in him. I'm just sorry he's so bad. Trey Lance, I was about to say, well, I mean, was it who is it who was saying that they didn't think Trey Lance was ready yet? Montana and Young, did they both say that he wasn't ready yet?
Both of them said that he is not ready. Anywhere close to being ready.
Yikes. I
mean, that's
a bad pick.
That's the main reason why Jimmy Garoppolo was still there. That's the main reason.
Yikes. I'll tell you that much. Right, Kyle Shanahan. Did they draft him second overall?
Third.
Remember, they traded up to get in that spot, too.
Yep.
Yikes. You're supposed to be the quarterback whistler or whisperer, Kyle Shanahan. If you completely misgambled or mismanaged this, and you drafted him 3rd overall, there were better quarterbacks possibly picked after Trey Lance.
They could have had Brady 2 years ago. Think about that. That's where Brady wanted to go. I believe when he said, they're going to sign that mother effer over me. I know he was talking about San Francisco. He was talking about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Grumpy old man, the Fat Boy made me think of the song. The Fat Boys are back. Mr. Cotter.
Mr. Cotter. Mr. Cotter. It was
Oh.
not welcome back Carter. Welcome back Cotter. Kotter.
Gotcha.
John Travolta. That's where John Travolta got his start.
Gotcha, Grumpy. We're gone. He says here that noodle arm take is a lazy take.
Oh.
Anything less than 4,000 passing yards and 30 touchdowns is underwhelming.
Well, he'll do a lot of stuff.
I want at least 2 touchdowns a game from him, an average of 2 touchdowns a game. I think that's doable with the weapons he has. 4,000 passing yards and 17 regular season games is very doable as well.
I think that they'll do a lot of dump off passes to Waddle and Hill.
I'll be very interested to see how many yak yards Waddle and Hill have. They all count the same.
A lot.
Yeah. Trey Lance has bad everything. He's bad at everything except scrambling. He reminds me too much of a poor man's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I think Jackson's a better. I don't want to say quarterback because I don't think Lamar Jackson's a great quarterback, but I like Lamar Jackson better as a runner than I like Trey Lance.
You're also saying here, imagine if Mac Jones got drafted instead of Trey Lance. Mac Jones is not he was not the 3rd overall pick either for.
Yeah, but you didn't have to trade up that high. They were talking about picking Mac Jones that high. I think Mac Jones is going to be a better pro than Trey Lance.
Wow.
This is a kid from North Dakota State.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I mean, and he hadn't played. He played 1 game in like 19 months.
He played 1 game in the COVID year, or he played one. I think he didn't play during the COVID year. They didn't play D1AA or something like that. And then he played 1 game the year after until he said, I'm deciding to sit out.
Right. He played 1 game in 19 months. And that's enough to get you elevated to 3rd pick in the draft.
Yikes.
They want to start him. They want him to play.
Yes.
So tell you where he is development-wise, but they don't get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. Should tell you something.
Oh, let me rephrase it. Trey Lance is a homeless man's Lamar Jackson.
Oh, wow.
God almighty. Gungun says, let's talk Jets, fellas. Do they have the snowballs? Do they have a snowball chance in hell of doing diddly this season?
I think they could do diddly poo and diddly do, but they're just not going to make the playoffs. I think they will be
Jets
better.
Could win 7 games, maybe.
They will be better.
Games. I mean, I think that's 8's the ceiling, but 7 games.
They will be better this year, though. I think Robert Saleh is a good coach.
I do too. I think they've put in the right pieces around. Mekhi Becton staying healthy is extremely important. They added more offensive pieces and weapons for Zach Wilson. How much of a step forward does Zach Wilson take? That's the question. I think 7 wins as a Jets fan, you should be happy. But if they're going to contend, probably not. Alexander says, shots fired at Trey Lance. Yeah. Just like Daniel Jones is a homeless man's Eli Manning.
Oh, well, that's not saying much because I never thought much of Eli either.
I was about to say that's a double slam because I mean Eli wasn't a great quarterback. Eli was a freaking average quarterback with a horseshoe jammed up his ass, and Daniel Jones is a homeless man's Eli. Woohoo! Yeah, we're looking at this guy shouldn't even be in the league. I mean, Daniel Jones is the bottom 10 quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion. I just don't know why they're giving him another chance. It's plain as day.
They overdrafted him. TJ and I talked about that. I'm like, he is wildly overdrafted. People were ranking him like in the middle of the 2nd round, and he goes at number 7. Sorry, it's a mistake.
Alexander saying the Jets will not contend. Not this year.
Yeah, not this year. Agreed.
I think they'll be better. How about taking a step forward? Rome is built in a day.
Honestly, if you're Miami, I'm just saying this for Alexander, you have to be happy with the 2nd place finish in the AFC East. I don't even know if that's good enough to make the playoffs.
I don't think they're going to leapfrog over the Bills this year.
No, but I think they'll beat out the Patriots. I think the Patriots are in trouble.
I said, look how many pieces. Okay, I've said this all the time, but look how many pieces they've lost over and over and over again, and
Yeah.
they still managed to regroup.
You talking about the Patriots?
Yeah,
What's
after Russell
regrouping?
Brady, right? It's been over and over and over again. The similar.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about regrouping. They were 7-9 2 years ago, and what 9-7 this year.
Okay, they lost pieces from they've lost pieces from this 9-7 team, and I just have that gut feeling. Think about it. They went 7-9 when Cam Newton was their starting quarterback. Let that shit sink in. I'm just saying he was a miserable quarterback at that point in his career, and Mac Jones is no freaking great shakes. I think they're going to be right around the same exact team this year they were last year regarding how many wins and losses they've got.
So middle of the road team.
I was about to say they lost quite a few pieces to be middle of the road. And I don't think they replaced them with marketable upgrades.
Yeah, like I said, they're a middle of the road team. Probably not going to make the playoffs. It's amazing what Brady did because it's basically the same rosters when Brady was there. Led him 12-4.
Joseph C said the only way Tua ever wins anything if it becomes the next Drew Brees in terms of accuracy. Good luck with playing outside. Outside most weeks. His baby arm strength is going to be his downfall.
Woo!
Daniel Jones will be dogpiled on by defenses this year, just like they dogpiled him in practice last season in a fight. Oh my God, I didn't know that. Alexander says Daniel Jones showed something his rookie year. Now it's funny. You look at the production Daniel Jones had back in that time period. Daniel Jones has just progressed, but backwards. His completion percentage has gone up. His yards have decreased every season. You could say, oh, he's played less games. But I mean, like, how the hell in 14 games are you not even throwing for 3,000 yards in a pass-happy league? Look at his touchdowns. 24 rookie year, 11 second year, 10 freaking touchdowns last year. 10 in 11 games. Not even a touchdown a freaking game. That's abhorrent. I'm sorry. That is awful.
Just not good enough. And he's hurt all the time, too.
I'm about to say, I wonder, I'm trying to find fumbles. How many lost fumbles? The guy was leading the league in lost freaking fumbles, too. My God, he's awful. I can't even, he's miserable.
Yeah, can't hold on to the ball.
He's awful. I keep giving that son of a bitch a chance. What a joke. Alexander said, we will win the AFC East. That is a bold statement.
That is
a very bold statement from Alexander.
That's the fanboy in Alexander. He's speaking with his heart, not his head there. I'm just going to say Buffalo.
Buffalo added Von Miller. And who else did they add this offseason?
I don't know. But here's the thing. They got better. They got better, and they're the favorite anyway. I think they learned how to win losing to Kansas City the way that they lost. That was on the coaching staff. Absolutely, that loss on the coaching staff. Tell me they don't beat Cincinnati if they beat Kansas City and they don't win a Super Bowl. Absolutely, they would have. Josh Allen was unbelievable at the end of the year. He's like one of those street yard players who can do everything. Like the biggest kid in the block, can throw the ball a miles, the fastest runner, the biggest kid. That's what he is right now.
Buffalo signed O.J. Howard to a 1-year deal.
He sucks. He sucks.
Shaq Lawson. They also got Shaq Lawson. And you want to talk about a guy who never really,
injury has hurt him.
Yeah, well, they signed Matt Barkley as the backup. They signed Duke Johnson too for a little running back. Jamison Crowder. That's a guy who could, if Jamison Crowder could stay healthy, he's a guy who could sneaky put up points for the Bills. Mark my words. As a fantasy guy late in the draft, that's a guy who could sneakily put up, maybe 800-900 receiving yards and maybe 5 touchdown receptions this year.
He's going to take over the Cole Beasley role.
For certain, he's going to look dominant because he's a better wideout than Cole Beasley is too.
True.
Can he stay healthy? That's the biggest question.
Yes, agreed.
Man, oh man, yeah, I'm looking at these moves. The Bills made quite a few moves this offseason. They became a more complete defense and offense. Mac Jones needs a good wide receiver, but Belichick refuses to get good wide receivers.
They got Devontae Parker, who's probably the best wide receiver on that team right now. They got Kendrick Bourne, who's a solid number 3. I just don't think that. I think the coaching staff is in a total wreck. They don't even know who their offensive coordinator is going to be. Is going to be Joe Judge or Matt Patricia or who it's going to be. Belichick Belichick has done what a lot of older coaches do. They bring in guys that they're familiar with, who just agree with them all the time. He's got all of his sons coaching the team, Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, who are like de facto sons to him. I think they're in trouble.
I love how Joe Judge got originally that Giants job. Remember when he got hired, I said, what a fucking mistake that was. The guy was never anything more than a freaking special teams coordinator, and he gets himself a job as a head freaking coach. What a joke.
That was the same year that Josh McDaniels wanted to interview for that job, but Belichick said that he had to finish up his end-of-the-year reports before he could, prepare for that interview. And Joe Judge went and got the job. Maybe that's what expedited the departure of Josh McDaniels this year.
Gotcha. Goon says, Grumpy, you were down on the Islanders before Barry went bye-bye. Did his firing change your mind about next season? Will they make you proud? Warm your grumpy little heart.
We need to get new players. Here's the thing. Barry's not the problem anymore. This is all on Lou Lamoriello now. Will he get the players that we need to elevate this team? Because we cannot roll back the same squad, and you can't make an incremental improvement. You got to shoot for the moon this year. For an older team, Johnny Gaudreau would be fantastic. I'd love to see them take a run at him, even more than Philip Forsberg. You got to get yourself a good second pairing left shot defenseman. And then I think that then maybe another piece, an auxiliary piece on the front line. And then I think you're ready to go.
I'm about to say, yeah, we talked about that ad nauseum, I think yesterday. And here's the thing too. I think there do need to be additions made. I will agree that having more freedom, I think, will allow your young players and young forwards to develop more. How quickly they develop is another question. Joseph C says here, Mac Jones is the most overrated quarterback from last year's first round quarterbacks taken. Most pro-ready with the highest floor, but easily the lowest ceiling. We forget. Do you remember when freaking the Patriots beat the Bills 14-10 and Mac Jones threw three passes, 2 complete passes for freaking 19 yards. Do you remember that? Or for 19 yards? Do you remember that, Grumpy?
Yes, I did.
God almighty. When you win a game when you throw the ball 3 times, you're not very reliant on your quarterback.
Now, I don't say you could say he's the most overrated. He was the 5th quarterback of the 5 taken. Now, if he would have went 2.
People think they think very highly of him.
I think he's going to be a serviceable quarterback. I think he's smart, which helps. His arm is good enough. It's better than Tua's arm.
Okay, we're moving along. We don't have time to be picking around like that. Drew L says here, Parker is trash in my opinion. Myers is average, and Bourne sucks too. He needs DK Metcalf.
Yeah, well, that's not happening.
And I'm still in agreement that Brock Nelson should be traded. I'm all for selling high on him. There we go, says Drew L. But Grumpy, we're at the end of the show today. What do you want to say before we wrap things up?
I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't, from TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. If you made it this far, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Make sure you like the video. And if you're not already, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, and follow on Twitter. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to the show today. We'll be live with you guys again, 8 o'clock on Sunday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Until then, have a great Friday and have a great weekend. We'll see you at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And thank you, Grumpy.
My pleasure.